the rudder! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Timcup here with Inside the C-Suite. Today, we are going to be speaking with John Hansen, who has a long career as a CEO and leader, in a good way. In a good way. You mentioned some of the, good way. You're good. So, John, how are you today?
I am well. It's a beautiful sunny day out here, and I just excited to be with you and William today.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to have you. So this show is all about you. We're going to learn all about your journey, go through, going to kind of dig into your brain a bit and figure out what makes you tick, motivations. You've got, it could be scary.
It could be scary. It will be scary.
I want to do this with William one time. But I'm kind of afraid.
You don't want to know. Don't want
to delve into that.
Bad idea.
I'm not sure how dark it would go. But
Bad idea.
So, John, why don't we start off with just a basic introduction? Introduce yourself. Where are you at today? What are you doing? And then we'll get into this.
So it's exciting to be here. I love the work that you are doing. I've listened to a number of the podcasts, and it's a unique voice that's needed out there. One of the things I do is instruct at the University of Washington on sabbatical at the moment because I got a little side gig I'm working on called work. But I love teaching, and I look at the work that Ryan and William, the two of you, are doing about bringing unusual and unique stories. When I open up, when I start my first day of class, I tell them about, I'm on 8 companies now, and three were pretty good exits, and 2 were so-so, and 3 were bombs. But, we're going to talk about my successes.
That's a great average, actually.
Well, we're going right to the bombs. Yeah. We're going to the bombs.
In baseball, it is. But one of the things I'd say is, I'm going to talk about the successes. I'm going to talk about, because don't you love it when founders and CEOs come in and they have one success and all of a sudden they're God's gift to entrepreneur. And I go, yeah. And everyone goes like, yeah, of course, everybody talks about their successes. And I go like, actually not. I'm going to talk about my failures. And you know why? Yeah. Because I've learned the most from my failures. So yes, 8 companies, and I've had some other great opportunities, serving the governor in Colorado as Secretary of Technology for a few years. But when I teach, the interesting thing here is that I have a balanced lifestyle. When I'm working, I'm 100% in, 120% in.
Right.
And then I sell the company, and then I take a couple years off and teach. And I say, okay, I'm done.
I'm done.
That was
and then you go,
I'm never getting pulled in. Never getting pulled in again.
And here's the problem. I'm teaching entrepreneurship to young,
doesn't work.
Smart, exciting, 20-year-olds, young 30-year-olds. And they're full of energy. They're full of hope. They're full of great ideas. And after a few years, I go, I got to get back out. I got to get out there. I can't take it anymore.
I'm missing something. Something.
Yeah.
They go off and do something cool and fun, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. And literally, I always say entrepreneurship to serial entrepreneurs is a disease, and there is no known cure. Death is the no known cure. But anyway, so that's me. I mean, that's me.
What's your current company? What do we got going?
Yeah, so this is an interesting story. I've been a tech CEO my whole life. So all my companies were what I call hard tech, like,
Right.
The cell tower controller software,
Yeah.
really, making your phone so that they do transfers over the cellular network. I mean, that's pretty hard science, right? I would tell my friends, I would tell them what I do, and they're like,
Yeah.
they
sounds
couldn't
cool.
understand it. And so I was teaching, and I, had this opportunity come to me in 2016. Two founders, were aging out, classic story, built this company called Media Partners, and it was in corporate training. And okay, but they were struggling with the transition, the digital transformation of learning, right, to e-learning and that. And they built a great company. Anyways, and they were aging out, and they said, John, hey, ain't interested? Have anybody that's interested? And I was like, you know what? This may be my last gig, and I'm tired of all the garbage that I've seen as a tech CEO when it comes to respect and diversity and, the treatment of women. I've always had this issue with my colleagues in the tech industry.
Right.
And here was an opportunity to perhaps, as my swan song, to make a difference. Can I really use all the latest technology and drive behaviors and attitude changes in the learning space?
Right.
I've been taking learning for my whole life, training for my whole life, and it was all garbage. It didn't do anything.
Compliance stuff.
Compliance stuff. And, some leadership stuff I had taken was pretty good.
Right.
But even then, a lot of it just didn't stick.
Right.
And so to me, in my arrogance, being a hotshot tech CEO, I said, how hard can this be? And what I needed to do at that moment is to
retire.
call William and to say, William, tell me about the HR space. Isn't this it looks like it's easy to get into and easy to crack. And William would have said, run. and I would have, and William, I would have blessed you if you'd given me that advice. Because here I am, coming up on 8 years later.
Hey, this is William Tincup. Listen, we did a series for iSolved called Heroes of HR, where we talk to HR practitioners. And these are just your run-of-the-mill, everyday, slogging it out, 300 employees in Cedar Rapids, HR pros. Mostly it's centered around iSolved and what they do with iSolved, but also they talk a lot about kind of the day-to-day rigor of HR. If you're curious about that, search for Heroes of HR wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you.
And this is hard. This is a hard space. And so anyway, the company's called Atana, and we are driving behavioral change through learning, using latest technologies and behavioral science. I got some behavioral scientists on staff here, and they make me look really dumb, which is one of my leadership principles.
100%.
Is when I'm in the room,
smart.
and you've heard this before, when I'm in the room, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room because they make me look so smart. And that's been one of my keys to success is I've always had smarter people around me. At the end of the day, I'm the CEO, so I get all the undue credit. But and so I do have some really smart people helping us crack this code, and we're pretty dang excited about it.
Bezos said this 100 years ago. And so I'm sure it changed through the years, but he wanted to hire smarter people. Okay, check. But to the point where if he applied to a job, he wouldn't get a job.
Yes.
At Amazon.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. Again, I don't know how much of that was just whatever, but it was just it was a cool thought. Like I want to be able to surround myself with smart people, and they want to surround themselves with smart people. It just keeps going to where when I apply,
players hire A players. Now, in my own personal life, I live this. My brother actually works for me. He's my CTO.
Right.
And he's my younger, smarter, better-looking brother. And everybody laughs, and then they meet David, and they go like, yeah, he's smarter, younger, and he is. He's a genius at what he does. But he doesn't want to be a leader. He doesn't want to be a CEO. He doesn't want to be. He's just an unbelievable. He's worked for me twice before. with great success. And then he went off to this company called F5, which is one of the leading networking companies, and was one of their top architects. And, so I was able to woo him back to come join me over here. And he said, how hard could this be? Well, we don't say that anymore.
No. That's a phrase.
You said, look, are you coming or not? That's what you're saying.
That's a phrase that makes you drink right there.
Yeah.
So do you have other brothers?
No, I have two sisters, an older sister and a younger sister. My older sister is just finishing up her first gig as a CEO. And she's an industrial engineer and found a great company and technology. And so like her brother, she was going like, oh, John, you've done this so many times before. It can't be that hard. And so
I've got a book recommendation for you.
Yeah, exactly. So she learned, but she was awesome. And she would call me about dealing with boards and all those challenges. And she's had a great exit here for her. And I'm really happy for her.
That's awesome.
Matter of fact, we started about the same time at this company. And I am a 3-year in and out person.
Usually,
lately, these last couple of companies. Right. And like I said, I'm here coming up on 8 years. Yeah, this one taught me humility. Mm-hmm. After 7 companies and a couple of successes, man, I'm teaching at the University of Washington MBA program. Man, I'm hot stuff. I got to tell you, I am hot stuff, right? These students eating out of my hands. And it was so fun. That's why professors stay professors, because of the ego trip. Oh, yeah. And so then I'm like, this can't be hard. Literally, I had a sign in my first, where we were working on the deal and saying, just this isn't that hard. And this lesson, one of my students asked me, what's the lesson about media partners in Atana? And I said, this was John's farewell and humility. Mm-hmm. And it has brought me to my knees about this HR space.
It's tough.
And sadly, I was a little late to realize what the heck was going on. And
some of that's the buyer that you dealt with in telecom. Totally. The telecom buyer and the HR buyer, like they're just different. One of my first companies that I worked with, they built cell towers. That's what they did. They just went around and built cell towers for folks. And it was such an easy sale. I say an easy sale. It was price and time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we need to do it by this time. Can you do it by that time? Great. Okay, we need it to be somewhere in this budget. Okay, can you do that? Great. Sign the contract. Check it.
Yeah, and it's a what we call a technical purchase. It's like, here's the this is what I need. This is the product definition. Here's the price that it's worth it to me.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Hi, I'm Stephen Rothberg.
And I'm Jeanette Leeds.
And together, we're the co-hosts of the High Volume Hiring Podcast.
Are you involved in hiring dozens or even hundreds of employees a year? If so, you know that the typical sourcing tools, tactics, and strategies, they just don't scale.
Yeah. Our bi-weekly podcast features news, tips, case studies, and interviews with the world's leading experts about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to high volume hiring.
Make sure to subscribe today.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
And
HR's no. We're not in that. We're not even in the same realm.
Well, you'll laugh, William. I and Ryan. So after I purchased the controlling interest in the company, I was going to buy the whole thing, but then the two founders go like, "Wow, John, we like what you're doing. Can we keep a little piece?" Sure, fine. Anyways, right after I bought it, let's go to the ATD show. And so we went down. It was in Atlanta. And so we went, me and my new team, we show up at ATD. show in Atlanta, which is the show for trainers, and and after 3 days at ATD, I had this little inkling, like, yeah, this is not a normal technology sale.
Would this have changed if you went to ATD a week before you signed the deal?
Oh, Ryan, I wish I would say yes.
No,
but it wouldn't have.
The hubris that I had.
That's exactly right. Ego. I mean, it's okay.
It is ego. Our greatest weakness that we struggle in life is ego.
Yeah.
But I always said I had overcome my ego. Yeah, this
is it.
This was my lesson.
Is put it back into perspective. Your wife's probably really happy on some level. She'll never say that to you.
No, she does.
Is your ego had gotten so big that it couldn't fit in the room?
Yeah. Sometimes I would, before here, now she's kind and gentle to me, but my previous company, when I was selling it to Oracle, whatever, and I'd come home and say, "Oh man, this is the Oracle wants our stuff. We're so excited.
I think we're going to buy a yacht.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this airplane, right?" And so then it was like, and she goes like, "Great, take out the trash." So,
what do you mean take the trash out? We got people for that now.
Exactly. Don't we have a servant to do that?
So somebody fetch me a salad.
Yeah. So you mentioned something real quick. I want to go back to you students. You mentioned in the very, very beginning that your students, and you're teaching them for 3 years, right? You're in between.
No, actually, I taught for 3 years. But
You're in between. You're jumping. They motivate you to go back. You're teaching them, and you're talking yourself into going back. What's their role in that? Like, are they driving motivation into you for this?
Yeah. So.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
So first of all, the University of Washington was so kind to me. And I say that with 100% sincerity. They valued. I got my MBA at the University of Washington. So, and I was that student, in my mid 40s, right? I went back and got my MBA at the University of Washington. And I'm that student that's saying, yeah, that's a bunch of crap, has no relevance. So I kind of pushed, but we had really, really good professors that really helped me. I knew what I didn't know, right? I went back on my fourth company. I went back to get my MBA, and everyone's like, what are you doing, John? You already done it. You already got it. What do you need? And I said, I know what I don't know.
Right.
I was weak in finance, right? I'm a computer science undergrad. I'm a technology guy. And so I knew what I didn't know, and I said, I'm going to go back to understand that. Best thing I ever did was to go back to learn using a structured program like an MBA. But because of that, then I really became friends with a number of the professors, and I thought I needed a PhD to teach. So I actually, during one of my gigs, after I sold my one company to IBM, I went in and said, I want to get a PhD. And they said, why do you want to get a PhD? Best advice I ever told. I said, well, I want to teach. And he goes, you don't need a PhD to teach. Matter of fact, don't get a PhD because a PhD is to do research. And I don't want to do research. I hate research. And he goes, like, you are already qualified. Come on in.
Yeah.
And so I taught seniors, and I taught the last year of MBA. And if you remember, when you're a senior, everyone's like, it's scared. Like, my 4-year party is coming to an end. And
the real world's right around the corner.
The real world's right around the corner. And then same year as an MBA, right? Last year of an MBA, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, where am I going to go? They were, I have a saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And those students, for the most part, were ready, and I appeared. And so they just drilled me on my experience and lessons, and I stayed friends with a number of them, and they're going places. It also reinforced or instilled in me the hope for our future.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. It's so negative out there. Mm-mm. No, you teach these young people. They are young. To me, they're young. But I have 100% confidence in the future of this country, of the world, because they really are really powerful.
Well, they have the hope. They haven't had the...
They have a hope. They haven't been shattered.
Sucked out of them.
They haven't had the failures yet. Even though I'm teaching them about my failures.
But that's how you have to... A lot of people, that's how you learn. I mean, you said it about yourself. That's me too.
Yes.
Same thing. It's like the successes is like, okay, important, got it. But it's the failures. It's like, okay, I really shouldn't have said that, or I really should have done this in that situation. Like that's when you learn.
Yes, I believe that's what life is about. Is for us to continue a learning path, and sadly, failures are reinforcing. I actually don't like it when I say and others say, "Oh, failure's good for you." Yes, on an intellectual level, but when you have some big failures, it hurts like crap. I mean, it just hurts. And I have a lot of empathy for people that are going through that. And I don't like to minimize that pain and suffering. And I hate it when people go, when I am going through a period of failure, I hated it when people go like, "You'll get through it. This is really for your good."
Yeah,
you'll learn.
You'll
learn.
It's like death. In some ways, when people try to talk, it's like, I understand what you're going through. It's like,
no, you don't.
No, you have no idea.
You have no idea. Yeah. So I'm careful, William and Ryan. I'm really careful at those moments not to minimize, because I've had huge pain in my failures. I mean, and the doubt comes in, and it's just all those emotions that come in. But my greatest lessons have come as I've risen from those ashes, right? And we celebrate the phoenix, rising up and all this great stuff. But it's like, when you're in it, shut up.
I think with all the social and the media that's out there, people can see at their fingertips. There's a lot of, we'll call them entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
Where they're out there, they're doing their thing, they're talking about, I failed, I did this, I did that. And it's almost celebrated more to fail and get the feather in the cap than it is to actually have the success.
Yes.
And probably, my theory, they haven't had success. And all which doesn't make it good or bad, but it's, I think, without the social media aspect of it, entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs isn't as sexy as it is today.
Yeah. And I think, Ryan, both sides have fallacy in them. One is the person who's never had, the success, or talk, I'm learning so much, and hey, this is good for me, and blah 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 blah. And then the other side,
I'm growing,
which is that one-time success.
Right.
And all of a sudden, like I said, you're God's gift to entrepreneurs. It's like, no, you're not. I mean, this is this is my 8th company, and look at what I'm learning during my 8th company.
Sorry.
Do I wish I would have quit after 7? Yeah, I actually do think I wish I would have quit after 7. Wait, I don't. Don't tell my investors that. I mean, I'm all in, guys. I'm all in. But,
for today.
For today. Yeah, no, and I actually have learned more at Atana personally. Than I have at any of my 7 previous companies. Really, it was that because of the hubris I had coming in. It's embarrassing. Yeah. It's actually embarrassing for me to say that.
No, no, it's not.
But it was unbelievably hubris, and I would have been sad if I finished my career thinking that way. I mean, now. When I was teaching, ironically, I taught up until a year and a half ago when I went on sabbatical because it was just getting too much for me. But throughout it all, and the students were saying, "This is so cool. You're right in the middle of it." And when are you learning? When are you? How's your experience going? And it was, I have to say, it was cathartic for me. It was.
It's like group therapy.
It's like group therapy, right?
Let me tell you about how we failed today.
Yeah, let me tell you how we failed today. And they're like, "Oh my God!"
And you were getting paid for it.
And I was little bit.
You were getting paid to go to therapy.
Yes, I was.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, did you give final exams on any of this? That's my question.
Well, nothing like. I mean, I can imagine, William, when you're getting your master's degree, you already have some hubris already, right? You think,
100%.
Yeah, and so you're hot stuff. And so they think, they're pretty important folks. They spared no sword in cutting me to shreds. And
100%.
of course, I come into it with authenticity. I come into it like, vulnerable. I don't know about you, but the best instructors I ever had were those that, weren't these tin gods up on the pedestal.
Yeah, they didn't know everything.
They didn't know anything. So I'm that way. You can imagine. I am vulnerable, and I expose. And every once in a while, that student that pulls out the sword and goes, and they're like, "Oh, that one hurt."
If you're so
thank you very much for that one.
Well, it's also part of the MBA experience.
Yes.
They're feeling that out to learn about themselves, too.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of social awkwardness meets arrogance meets I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm going to ask you really tough questions because I'm really trying to figure out what I want to be.
Yes.
And so you're serving that up on a plate for them and actually helping them.
Yes.
Where did you miserably fail in your life so I can go the opposite way?
Well, one of my favorite.
No, they're learning. They're going to take that and learn.
Well, one of the funniest things is and this was to my class's seniors. I taught strategic management and then also entrepreneurship. And so the last day of class, I'd have them write up this lessons learned from the class, right? And there's a couple of topics they have to answer. What did you learn from the class? And then I have them go around and pick one or two and say it verbally out loud.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this one student said, "Where did I learn this class? I do not want to be an entrepreneur."
That's a fantastic lesson. Seriously, that is a fantastic lesson.
Much pain.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a success or failure, though.
Oh no, that was a success because they might have done the whole bit and said, "I'm gonna take this idea to market," and struggled for forever.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? We need employees too, just as much as we need entrepreneurs and innovation.
Yes, exactly.
We need employees.
Yes, exactly.
So no, I think that was an absolute success.
And if you look at, like you said, Ryan, and social media and everything, it looks like it's fun, even if it's stale, even if it's hard. But this is so much fun, and I love the ones who are, doing the day by day blow of what they're going through, and makes it look a little glamorous, right? It's and I'm
overnight
like
success.
Oh, yeah.
It's an overnight success.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll be an overnight success when you exit with this company. You know what will play out in the papers, right?
Yeah.
It'll play out overnight success.
Overnight success.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
Rarely is it.
Well, even Steve Jobs said that, right?
Yeah.
So it's about his turnaround at Apple. Oh yeah, it was an overnight success. All it took was to launch the iPhone, and then we're a big success now.
People don't remember the hardships, especially. I think Cuban said this at one point.
Yes.
He's like, the first company he had was like a computer software, or not a computer hardware company. They built computers like Dell and stuff like that. And then somebody offered him $1 million to sell the company, buy the company or whatever. And he sold. And that gave him some of the startup capital for AudioNet.
Right.
And so he just goes, after broadcast, both went public and then got sold, had money, bought the Mavs, did some other stuff. He goes, I forgot the hardships, like going to Costco and buying shares and having to assemble them yourself, or if you didn't have a chair, you stacked up boxes of paper so that people would have a chair or something like a chair to sit on. Like, he goes, I forgot all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's why a series of the companies that right after all that failed is because I forgot how hard it was.
Yes.
I thought it was easy because I thought of at the end when we went public, when we got bought by Yahoo, thought about all that stuff.
Yes.
Forgot all the stuff.
Well, and I have to admit, I forgot that.
Yep.
You know, my last company, I sold it to Oracle, and
Yep.
and it was great exit, great turnaround, far exceeded what the investors had hoped to get, and so I'm just, like I said, I'm walking around, and that was my 7th company, and so I okay, and then I went back to teaching, and would I trade that? I mean, here is really the thought experiment. Would I trade what I've gone through these last 7.5 years for what I felt at that moment?
Right.
And I mean, I wish I could say I'm so enlightened, William and Ryan, that of course I would welcome this hard experience to further enhance my growing experience. But that's a bunch of bullcrap.
Yeah.
I would have said, I don't want to walk into the fire again.
No.
So perhaps my hubris actually was the opening I needed to continue my life learning.
Right.
And I tell myself that to kind of help the
It's a
pain.
great rationalization.
Put some salve on the scars.
Stay with that. Don't get off of that. Stay with that as long as you can.
My Zen training, right? This is worth my, all the suffering is worth it. So
at this point, you hit yourself over the back. Now, this is good for me. This is absolutely good for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's good for you.
I mean, I always laugh thinking back, talking about Mark Cuban and his first company to my first company when I was, all of 29 years old and started my first company and actually got it up and running. I turned 30. So technically I was 30 years old and I started my first company. My brother and I actually came up with this great idea way back in the 1990s. For a dial-up bridge router that connected offices. No one had built one of those yet. It's pretty cool, using advanced modems back then.
Yeah.
Don't even know what modems are. And so my brother and I built this company, but we are hardcore engineers, right? So if we build it, they will come.
Oh yes.
And we did. It was a breakthrough. And I remember going to trade shows and a little 10x10 and people going like, what, this doesn't work. And then we'd show them and it worked. And everyone was like, wow, this is great. And we had some modest success, right? Even Land magazine back then was like,
cool.
hot new product. And so we're like, wow, this is really good.
That's it. We made it.
We made it. And I'll never forget, there was this little company, and I do want to remind you that they were small at the time. Small meaning, about 200 million, a company called Cisco.
Yeah.
And they came and said, hey.
Like what you have here.
And we'd like to buy it. And they made me an offer, and it was a couple $1,000,000, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm out.
And it was stock.
Right.
My wife and I don't talk about this. Ever.
Good.
And I passed. And literally 6 months later, they came out with their product, and I was done. And another year later, we were over. That was one of my failures.
Wow.
And build it and they will come. I didn't need marketing. I didn't need anything. It was like a superior product. Superior products always prevail, right? That was such a hard lesson for this engineer to learn, and one that was important to learn. But
superior marketing.
Superior market, the whole everything, product, price, promotion, placement, packaging.
4
everything.
Ps. Yeah.
And it was...
I'm going to be one of these MBA students and jab you.
Oh, please.
Oh,
maybe.
How much would the stock be worth?
How much would the stock be worth today if you would have taken it? Would we even be talking to you?
We would be talking. Yeah, this would be on a call. I would
have been one of those one-hit wonder kids.
Right?
Yeah. You would have been Mark Cuban buying it.
Right, at 30, I was 32 at this time, and Yeah, I don't think my wife's going to listen to this.
No, we're good.
But I want to say that Cisco's had some ups and downs. So,
100%.
The last time I looked, I did this calculation 10 years ago.
Oh man!
And Cisco was kind of going through a little bit of doldrums.
Yeah.
1.1.
Yeah. Guy Kawasaki famously.
Oh yeah, Guy Kawasaki, right? He's one of my heroes.
He famously have said he did make $1.7 billion, I think was the figure, because he didn't want to do the commute to Yahoo.
Yes.
Because Yahoo wanted him to be the CEO.
Yes.
And he's like, where is it at? I can't remember where they were, but it was too far of a commute. It was 25 minutes.
Yes.
Yes. Which in that part of California could be an hour.
Yes.
Yeah,
but he lost
still.
$1.7 billion. I'm like, you could have hired a driver. Like,
you could have hired one of those little small helicopters to drive you in between. Yes. It's but boy, Ryan, what I learned from that lesson.
You learned a lot, and you have learned additional companies.
Cuban said this famously: first time someone offers to buy your company, sell. Because then you're a successful entrepreneur.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And that happened to be my second company, and I will never forget the exit on that one either. And it was the same sort of thing. So the exit was happening right before company was Metapath. And the exit was happening right before the bubble was collapsing in 2000.
Oh, that's a perfect time to exit.
Yeah, it's perfect time to exit. And you're going to laugh about this. So Marconi at that time, which then fell apart, and then Ericsson bought the pieces. So my team ended up over at Ericsson. So the offer comes, and it was for $720 million. And now by this time I was so deluded. So don't have any delusions of grandeur about how much I made on this.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But
doesn't matter, because when it's reported it was a 700 whatever. That was the
that's all it's reported.
What you made.
Yeah, that's
doesn't
right.
matter.
It didn't matter. And so, but anyway, so the deal came, and it was half cash, half stock.
Oof.
So half stock of Marconi was $17.50 a share of Marconi stock, or cash. And so every investor, every owner, shareholder had to make a decision. And I said, well, I'm taking the cash. Because I was raised on the farm in upstate Wisconsin, and my grandpa taught me that pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. And so I said, this is the first one for me. So just like Mark Cuban, I took it.
Perfect
and
timing.
Of course, I remember the Cisco fiasco too.
Yes.
But anyways, I didn't take stock. I took the cash. But here's the funny thing. There was so much demand for the stock, they couldn't get these major investors to take cash. But they were adamant that this is half cash, half stock. And so there was this big battle going on. And, of course, the rest of the story is those who took cash, well, cash was cash. You could put it in your bank. Yeah. And this was done in May of 2000 when we closed. In September, Marconi stock was worth 75 cents.
Yep.
Yeah. And so ironically, a couple of years later, I ran into one of these major investors, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's too bad what happened to Metapath. That was such a failure." And I'm like,
I'm doing pretty well.
Hold up.
I did what I had to do, and you decided to take stock and hold the stock all the way down to the bottom.
Yes.
I said, that's called distribution of proceeds to your LPs.
That's right.
That's not on me. And he goes, yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess.
I guess. It was $17.50 when that deal closed. I said, yes, exactly.
Oh, my God.
So, anyways, I always thought that was funny. So, yes, if someone comes to offer to buy your company,
sell
it for the first one at least, and then you can start play around in your second and third and fourth.
Well, I mean, you've had big companies that have been interested in you. I mean, Cisco. Okay, so you talked about IBM,
Oracle. Yeah.
Oracle. I mean, these are big companies. These aren't small companies. So they see you. They see what you're doing. They like what you're doing, Do you go? Have you in any of the exits? Have you gone to go work for those companies?
That's a great question, Leo.
It's like
That sounded
like
a bit
you're
sinister.
laughing at
I'm not
it.
going to lie.
I love it. No.
You know, when Oracle bought my previous company and there wasn't even an offer. I said, well, I know Larry's getting old and he should step down, so I'm happy to take his spot. Yeah, no, that wasn't, and that wasn't so most of the time they identify key employees that they need to have that goes through the transition, and we put bonuses and stay bonuses and incentives in place for them to stay through the transaction for a year or two afterwards, right? You're all familiar with that.
Right.
Some reason I was never on the key employee list.
100%.
That's
100%.
common for the founder, entrepreneur, CEO.
And your brother might have been.
He was. Very much so he was.
Because, I can see that. I can see that playing out differently.
Yeah.
We can get rid of him.
Yeah,
get
rid of John.
We don't need
Let's
any more of
get
that.
rid of the non-idea
David?
guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when I announced the transaction, you're going to love this. So I have my team in Bellevue. We had employees all over the world. I had my team in Bellevue, and that's where headquarters was located. And so I have the meeting, the infamous meeting, that and they're announcing the transaction. And, I'm all great news.
The TechCrunch article is going live tomorrow. Right. Better talk to the team and customers.
Let them know.
Yeah.
And so, and there was a question asked, well, what about you, John? I said, well... I
wasn't picked.
Yeah, I wasn't picked. I tell the same story. I said, for some reason, they don't need another CEO.
It's like dodgeball. I didn't get picked.
I didn't get picked. And so they're dead silent. And I'm like, oh, wow. Then this customer service person in the back puts her hand up. And she goes, is David staying? And I said, oh, yeah, David stayed. Oh, wow, okay. And they start cheering.
The love in the room.
And my brother will never let me forget that. But I just kind of went, okay.
I was driving the train row, right?
I'm going to go teach now. Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take my class.
You ungrateful peasants, you.
I'm gonna take my marbles. I'm going home.
Actually, I was, as you can imagine, I was excited. One of the great joys that I have in my life, how I measure some success, is the people that I helped rise up to achieve their objectives. The number of on the deals afterwards, the number of people that walked away with some serious money to change their lives, and what they have done with their lives afterwards. I mean, that to me, yes, of course, I've enjoyed the blessings of these transactions myself personally. I don't want to make light of that, but really, it is about the stories of the lives that were touched by the work that we had done. Right. And it, both professionally, going on becoming CEOs, going on becoming entrepreneurs, going on becoming VPs and executives. Right. And I mean, isn't that really, as you look back, that's your legacy?
That's it.
That's the great joy. It's like teaching, right? Seeing some of these students that told me that, wow, this was the best class I had, John, you really changed my trajectory. And then you look back and see what they're doing now. Isn't that the legacy that we're all striving to do, is to 100%. Leave that mark? And that to me is the unbelievable greatest joy of my last, companies that I've done.
So last question for me, John, is interacting with Gen Z. So what's your current take on Gen Z employees? As I have you squarely as Gen X, but you could possibly be an elder millennial. I don't know. I'll leave it out there.
You're trying to, you flattering me, William?
I'm just saying. You could be
an
elder
old
millennial.
What are you doing?
I'm old, William. My grandson said, "Grandpa, you're old," and I went, "Yeah, I guess I am."
I just.
What do I think of Gen Zs? Well, I've been teaching Gen Zs.
Yeah.
And older Gen Zs, right? As really only the last few years, right, as they've been coming in.
Right.
I believe that they are struggling to find their place and their contribution.
Yeah.
Like I did when I was 20 years old.
100%.
And so now that I'm old and the wise elder, I just chuckle at how when I remember when the millennials were 20.
Yep.
And we said, they're worthless. They don't know how to work hard. They don't know anything. And then I chuckled now with the next Gen Zs, and the same things are said by the millennials, by the way. I'm like,
they're the harshest.
They're the harshest critics of Gen Zs.
100%.
That's because the X's are the closest, and
they're the closest, and they're like, you know how hard we had to work. And so once you've been through a few of those cycles, as I've gotten in my age. But let me tell you, I teach them, and they are as smart and as and then now they have tools at their disposal that we've never had. The millennials never had. They just have natural gifts and tools that I believe will elevate and take forward. But do they have passion? Do they have commitment? Do they have a desire to succeed? Do they want to make a difference in the world? Absolutely.
Yeah.
The human endeavor continues.
The only weird thing that I've had to deal with, because at Scouts or whenever I'm teaching or talking to, like in presentations or whatever, is they're listening, but they're looking at their phone. So you see a lot of foreheads.
Yes.
Yeah. But they are listening, and they are listening. They're not communicating in the way we want them to.
Correct.
Right. But they're listening. They've got AI on. They're taking notes.
Yeah,
they're listening and all that stuff, and they're doing other things, and they're multitasking.
Yeah.
Well,
so this is a huge issue in our education system, K-12 and higher ed. Right. This is a huge issue.
Part 2 of the podcast.
Part 2 of the podcast, and then as AI comes into it as well. So the interesting thing is. I didn't ban technology in my classroom. Matter of fact, they would have to have their laptops up because we're doing research in real time. Yeah. But what I found was my best, and I'm a roamer. So when I would teach, I'm a roamer. And I would just...
Phil Donahue. You're going to Phil Donahue people? You're just walking around with a mic?
And so
genius.
I just look, and I'm seeing, and someone might be,
Sally, tell me a little bit about what you think about this.
And and you can just tell the person that's engrossed. Now, a lot of times they're engrossed for some real good reason.
Right.
And I just walk over and find out what it is.
Tell us.
You're obviously share. Don't share.
Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself.
Don't keep it to yourself. I mean, you're so intent. You're so intense on your phone. I mean, wow, this must be good if you're not, I don't think I'm boring. Am I boring, everybody? Okay.
I'm telling you the story of my failure. Just listen to me.
I'm being vulnerable right now. This is Fast Times at Ridgemont High when he takes the pizza and he lets everybody else in the class have a slice of the pizza.
Yes. So there were techniques, shall we say, tactics.
100%. You might come over here.
And normally by the second week, no one's on their phone because I have, I'll ask a really technical question. I'll be up at the board, whatever, and then I'll look, and then I just cold call. Now, people would come up to me and go like, Mr. Hansen, I'm not really good. I'm not really good at cold calling. I went, okay, well, there's another section of this class taught by a really boring deadbeat professor.
Yeah, the drop ad date. Drop ad date is it's in 2 weeks. Yeah. You might want to look at that.
He's got plenty of room because the students that really wanted to be in my section, but that one has got plenty of room. If okay, and people would. I mean, great, fine, okay. But if you want an engaging experience,
this has been a fantastic show. I know we got to get you on to your next thing. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom, John. This has been wonderful.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it, William and Ryan. You
I think
two.
we'll need a part 2 and 3.
We need a part 2. We're getting an education.
I think highly of the two of you, the work that you're doing. You're trying to spread these lessons to those that will find value on it. And I applaud you for that. Please continue it. I wish you all the success with your podcast.
Thank you very much, brother.